The undefeated Indiana Hoosiers marched into Columbus with dreams of dethroning the mighty Ohio State Buckeyes. This wasn't just any game. It was a battle for Big Ten supremacy and a potential ticket to the college football playoff. At the helm of Indiana's Cinderella story stood Curt Cignetti, a coach who had taken the college football world by storm. In his first year at Indiana, Cignetti transformed a perennial underdog into a top 5 powerhouse, going 10-0 and making headlines with his brash confidence. "Google me," he'd say, pointing to his track record of success at smaller programs. Ohio State, however, wasn't buying the hype. The Buckeyes, accustomed to being the big dogs of the Big Ten, took issue with Indiana's newfound swagger. They saw this as an opportunity to remind the Hoosiers who the big dogs of the conference still are. For Indiana, this was their first true test of the season. Their undefeated record, while impressive, Ohio State was ready to show them what real competition looked like. And you could sense the energy from the jump. Even though Ohio State struggled to create separation in the first half, they had the opportunities. So you knew at some point in the second half, there was going to be that play that completely took Indiana out of the game. In this video, I'm going to recap Ohio State's big blowout win in another top 5 matchup against Indiana. I'm going to talk about what has gone down over the last few weeks with the team, as well as the game coming up against the team up north. And then what Ohio State has to do to get ready for the national championship stage. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would the team as well as fans. They're now sitting pretty with a 10-1 record, but that one loss to Oregon still stings. It was a real heartbreaker, 32-31. And the kind of game Ohio State should have won if not for some head-scratching decisions on the sidelines and a bad penalty. But hey, that's football, right? Since then, the Bucs have been all about grinding out wins and just getting the job done. It hasn't always been pretty, but they've shown they can bounce back when it counts. Just look at the huge win they pulled off against Penn State in Happy Valley. Even though they always beat Penn State, it was still another top 5 matchup on the road. So that was a statement game if there ever was one. A bunch of players have really stepped up this season too. Will Howard's been a big upgrade at quarterback. He hasn't been perfect, but he's been a game manager and has shown some real leadership and has made plays when it matters. Emeka Egbuka's been lighting it up as a receiver, making defenders look silly after the catch. And how about Caleb Downs? That 79-yard punt return touchdown against Indiana was something else. And we can't forget about Travion Henderson either. He's been a beast in the running game and made that unselfish decision to slide before reaching the end zone to pretty much ice the game. And now, all eyes are on the big one. This isn't just about bragging rights anymore. A win here puts Ohio State back in the Big Ten championship game for the first time since 2020. Plus, it could set up a big rematch against Oregon. And at the end of the day, it is the game. Unranked, ranked, doesn't matter what the circumstances are. This game is the season. And Ryan Day is still on the hot seat because he hasn't been able to beat Michigan. My opinions on Day really have been all over the place over the past few years. He hasn't been able to win the big games, but he was also just a field goal away from winning a national championship. Overall, he has recruited well. He has brought in some crazy talent, and this is his chance to redeem himself. Here is what Day had to say following the win over the Hoosiers.
Kind of had an edge about you. Some of the Pat McAfee comments yesterday got a lot of attention, and it seemed like the team also played with a little bit of an edge that was different today. What's the root of that?
There's probably a lot that goes into it, but that's the way you got to play the game of football. That's the mentality that we have to have, and you know we know that we want to be playing our best football. We also know what was at stake. You know, you don't win this game, you have no chance to go to Indianapolis and play in the Big Ten championship, and that's real. And we've had that approach here for a few weeks now, or more than that. And I got to say, I thought the crowd was awesome. I thought our guys played with great passion. I thought the two of them just, played off of each other the entire game. I think the fact that they had to go to a silent cadence did make a difference in this game. It certainly did. They tried to clap early. They couldn't. They went to the silent cadence, and that made a huge difference in the game. So, give the fans so much credit. I thought they brought great energy. I thought during Caleb's return, it was one of the loudest I've heard it in a while.
One of the big recruits he brought in that has generated so much excitement is Jeremiah Smith. He is a once-in-a-generation type of player, and as a freshman, he has been putting up record-setting numbers. And on the big stage, I really expect a lot of targets to come his way. He's been a little reserved the last few weeks, but we all know he is going to have a huge game soon. Now that OSU has beaten both Penn State and Indiana, they have pretty much secured their spot in the college football playoff. So they should be able to play pretty free and loose over the next 2 weeks. But when aggressive, and until then, I will see you all later.